Thank you, Martina. Okay, now that we have replenished a little bit of our energy, we want to give a little bit of an overview of Brazil IT, its value proposition, and we hope at the end of this presentation and this luncheon that you will be energized to come by and talk further with us at our booth at the outsourcing. You can look up. There's several segmentation areas. We're in booth number 8. So, who has been to Brazil before? Raise your hand, please. Where?
North.
Everywhere. Has anyone been to Brazil and not been to Rio? Gotta go back. You have to go back. Okay, well, Brazil is of course a lot more about Rio. There's several different cities, São Paulo, Curitiba, and the Northeast as well. Brazil is a huge country. So we hope that today that we will give you a little bit more of a vision in this particular space, which is the IT space. Something that I'm going to tell you that is not new for you is this. Brazil is open for business. Right? It's considered now to be one of the jewels. We do here a country comparison that people often don't see, and just to give you a sense of what is the sheer size of Brazil. So we take 3 different criteria to compare the countries worldwide. These criteria in a single snapshot are landmass, population size, and GDP. And if you combine all of those 3 with when you have landmass over 4 million square kilometers, and when you have countries with population over 100 million population size, and when you have countries with GDP of over 1.5 trillion, what you end up with is only 3 countries matched up criteria at the same time. US, Brazil, and China. And what that does is Brazil today is the 7th largest economy in the world. And it has been one of the top destinations for foreign direct investment in the last 3 years. As being a food and energy power, a lot of people have probably heard. But there are interesting indicators as well that people don't realize. We are the 2nd largest commercial fleet in the world. We're the 2nd largest private executive market in the world, 2nd largest agricultural vehicles, 2nd largest market, 3rd for market TV, 3rd for copy machines, 3rd for jeans consumer, largest soft drinks market, and it goes on. Who has flown recently in the United States American Eagle aircraft? If you have done, you have flown a Brazilian aircraft called Embraer. Right? People don't realize, but Brazil has over 45 strong different economic sectors. Another very strong issue that's embedded into our business culture is most multinationals that you recognize are in Brazil and have been for over 40 years. And what this does, it just helps to embed better business practices, the same business practices that you're accustomed here in Europe. But today, we think that where is the largest and strongest competitive advantage when you look at the world scenario of what the Brazil IT value proposition is from the cultural aspect. At the end of the day, technology is a lot of zeros and ones. And it's the people behind those zeros and ones that can make the difference, that can really align to your business outcome. So we like to show you why our cultural scenario, our cultural mosaic, is a competitive advantage. People don't realize that in Brazil, actually 2006, Business Review Institute went out to study the mixes of the races. And their conclusion was that the most mixed race on the planet is the Brazilian race. And it's funny because I'm half American, half Brazilian. And while living in the United States, I've always heard about the United States being the great melting pot. And as an American, I disagree with that statement. Yes, it has had very diverse immigration influence, a lot from Europe, but it never really melted, it siloed. And Brazil is exactly the opposite. It totally melted. So the largest Japanese community outside Japan is in Brazil. The largest German community outside Germany is in Brazil. The largest Italian community outside Italy is in Brazil. Need not to say about the Portuguese, of course, right? But even the Lebanese outside Lebanon is also in Brazil. Mind you that anyone in this room could carry a Brazilian passport and pass as being a Brazilian. That's why in the underground, the most expensive passport is a Brazilian. Interesting scientific proof of that mixes of the races is that, let's say my friend Carlos Alberto Jaime from Sync Technologies, who's from Curitiba, a very European influenced city, state. But let's say he had to undergo a spleen transplant. He cannot go to the United States. He cannot go to Europe to do it. He can only do it in Brazil. The only reason being, our genetic code has already changed so much because of that mix that he will only find compatibility in Brazil. Now, why do we think the cultural aspect is a cultural advantage? Well, at the end of the day, what we're saying is, when you're looking at problem solving, right? I think everyone here, you might not have an immediate problem, but you know you're going to have something you have to solve. You have to look for something that can solve an issue that you have, or that you really do have a problem. And when you're looking at problem-solving approach, it's the people-centric. It's the people that are looking at your problem is that what's going to make the difference. And before you move here, we like to wrap this cultural aspect in a little story we tell often when we speak. It's about pizza. Who likes pizza in this room? Raise your hand, please. Everyone, yeah, I would reckon. Well, if you like pizza the way I do, and I live in between Rio and San Francisco, so every time I go to San Francisco, I make a pit stop at a place called North Beach Pizza. Now, it's a little small shop in the North Beach district of San Francisco, and it's owned by a Greek guy called John. And the other day, I made my pit stop there, I was having my pizza, and John had a smile that was hooked to his ear. And I said, John, why are you so smiling? What's going on? And he says, Robert, I beat those guys to the punch. I said, what do you mean? Who did you beat? He said, I beat Pizza Hut and Domino's Pizza. I said, but how? Well, I delivered a more amount of pizzas in a single day to the entire Bay Area than they did. I said, John, please, how could you possibly do that? They're a franchise. They have units scattered all over the Bay Area. You're just a single door. How can you do that? I said, Robert, I have a very tight delivery team. I have 40 motorcyclists. So, wow, and where do you find them? He says, I only have one criteria to hire them, and which is be Brazilian. I said, wow, why? What's so special about being Brazilian? He says, no, Robert, they bring 3 critical success factors to my business. And that's why I'm able to even beat those guys to the punch. 1, business expertise. If they can drive those motorcycles like they do down in Sao Paulo, they can drive them anywhere else in the world. They can even beat the rich cars from Mumbai. 2, reliability and commitment. These guys are not tied to a 9-to-5 job. They're not tied to a job description. They're committed to getting things done. And 3, flexibility and resourcefulness. It doesn't matter what type of unforeseen event that happens out in the front line. They take care of it there, right there. They don't bring back to me a problem. They tell me what solution they gave. Now I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to transfer those 3 critical success factors: business expertise, reliability and commitment, flexibility and resourcefulness, into your own world, into your own IT projects, and tell me that's not exactly what you need when looking for problem solving. And this is not just us saying this. If you look at where's my slide? Okay, I had a slide here that was talking about how the analysts, and I'm not talking about our host analysts only, I'm talking about all the server analysts that you normally have in your radar, are saying about what is a Brazilian value proposition, which has a lot to do with the flexibility, has a lot to do with the creativity and the problem-solving approach. I'm going to give you one example that happened here in Europe about the creativity and applying it to IT. There is a SAP solution. Is anyone from SAP or familiar with SAP a lot? Well, there's a solution for the retail. They call it ADP. And it's just mapping what's going out at the point of sale and then transferring all that info into the distribution center and then transferring to the manufacturing plant. So it can just retrofit and feed back what needs to be back into the point of sale. It's a truly retail product. Well, in Brazil, a bank applied it. I said, well, how come a bank is looking for a retail solution? How could it possibly do that? He said, well, look at this. The bank has money. He needs to put money in the branches. He needs to put money in the ATMs. This is a perfect solution. So the gentleman, the CIO, or his system analyst that was involved with the configuration process, he was going to the config and he ran into a glitch. So, okay, well, let me call SAP for help. So he calls the help desk. He calls the help desk for the ADP solution. So he says, here, I'm calling from Brazil. He's calling Germany. I'm calling from Brazil, and I am installing your ADP solution, and I'm having problems. Can you help me? He said, sure. Which industry are you from? I said, I am from the banking industry. I'm sorry, we don't make ADP for banking. And hung up on it. I said, wow. So he picks up the phone again, then he called the finance help desk. So he calls the finance help desk in Germany, and listen, I am from Banco Itaú. Make sure that you realize that he's from the finance industry, and I'm having a problem installing one of your solutions. Can you help me? Which solution is that, sir? ADP. Sorry, we don't make that solution for finance. And hung up on it. Today, the ADP solution is one of the top selling solutions for SAP in the financial sector. And that's just a way of looking at it differently and to illustrate a little bit of the creativity. Now, it's not just about Brazil IT that we want to talk about. We want to show a little bit of the companies that are here exhibiting, and that we think that you should definitely look and come over to the booth throughout the next 3 days and engage with them. The first company that we have is Sync Technologies. Sync Technologies from Curitiba. It's a city in the south of Brazil, very European influenced, right? And they're in the IT services space. And they like to say that their name, Sync, has an acronym, which means commitment, it means innovation, and it means quality, right? And please, Carlos Alberto Jani, raise your hand, stand up. You'll be able to meet him down at our booth. And everything that you see here is where he is engaged with in that particular perspective, which is pretty much like the pizza story, which is commitment, innovation, and quality. They are, of course, carry all those necessary brands of certification and quality standards. And the next company is Zeplan. It's a company from São Paulo that's focused totally in BI and focusing helping you understand your business planning, BI and BSC. Please, Antonio Augusto, he is also here, and I'd love to meet with you later. So one single platform for anyone who wants to understand exactly where your business is going. These are some of your customers you'll probably recognize. Some of these customers are here European-based. Our next company is Softex. And Softex is also involved in business planning. They're also from São Paulo, and please, Kelson, please, and he will be down and also at our booth. And they have a software excellence suite in which they combine all the needed aspects, and this is on the run, for your business enterprise resource planning. Our next and last company is Stefanini. Stefanini is probably our largest multinational in the IT services space. This is their footprint in the world. You're talking about 72 offices in 66 different cities, scattered around 28 countries. These are the clients under this type of capacity. And everyone, and Stefanini, Nicholas Munger is our host for Stefanini here. He had an unforeseen event that came up, and he will be later at the booth for you to meet. Now, at the end, so we can wrap up and can go back to lunch, because we want you to engage on one-to-one really, what did we really bring to the table? I often say that before the internet came about, we were only sure of two absolute things would happen in our future. We'll always pay taxes, and we'll die one day. I say after the internet, there's four. We'll always pay taxes, we'll die one day. Third, we will never do anything by ourselves anymore. It's a collaborative world. And fourth, we manage change on a daily basis, not on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. It's change almost by the wink of the eye. So the future is being collaborative, and Brazil is a great collaborator country. And we talk about the future of sharing a business platform. Brazil has great business and domain expertise. And I think this is where really, if you were to ask me, give me your silver bullet, Robert, for Brazil IT, hit the ground running, in whatever case it may be. Because we have such a diversified country, diversified economy. We can really relate to your business problem because we are also part of that business problem in our country. So it's an automatic shoe-in. And the future is about constant change. The future is about constant change. While Brazil has PhD in change management. If I were to show a slide between 1986 and 1994, 7-year span, of how many different economic plans we lived, 7. So change of environment, change of rules is something that the Brazilian culture has embedded and has been able to actually now make that a competitive advantage in their value proposition to their clients. So the conclusion, so when you're looking for software or solution in IT services, we say that we're not the only one, but we are one that you should definitely be looking at. We should also consider it as being a world-class supplier. This is the image that you normally get. Okay, and those who have not been to Rio, this is also what you will be seeing. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your lunch, and we'd definitely like to see you down at booth number 8 at the hall.